Katie Zelem is born and bred in Manchester, where she started her career at United. After spells with Liverpool and Juventus, where she won the league in her first season, she's back at Manchester United, where she proudly wears the captain's armband. This attack-minded midfielder is looking to make her mark at this year's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. After making Serena's squad for the tournament, there is a real chance for Lioness Zelem to establish herself in the starting 11 and on the world scene. Katie, thank you so much for joining us today. Keen to learn more about you and your incredible journeys. Come on then, Manchester growing up, what was it like?
I loved it. It's honestly my favourite place. I love being in Manchester, I love being from Manchester. Whenever I visit London, I'm like, oh, it's too busy here, too many people.
What was your first footballing memory then?
I remember playing on the street with like my cousins, literally from a family of boys, so they all played football. It was like play footy with the lads or sit inside on your own, so I remember we'd play like Kirby, like put our jumpers down, make them into nets and stuff.
So you were the only girl playing then?
Yeah, even when I signed for my first team, it was a boys' team, and I was like the only girl in the team, but the only girl in the league too. And
I was seeing that your dad was a pro goalie,
yeah.
Your uncle was a pro. Were they the people that inspired you then to get into football, or was it just literally, I'm 6, I'm going to go play with the lads?
No, they definitely inspired me. My dad is like one of my biggest inspirations, and it's his identical twin actually that also played, and we used to live next door. Bit much, I know. So like it was just around me all the time growing up.
So what does he think of you now then, playing like the career that you've had? Is he just like, wow?
Yeah, he loves it. Like I'm an only child, so he's living the rest of his football dream through me, I think. Both my mum and dad literally come to every single game. They're always there to support me. So
we're in the garden, we're always shooting at your dad. And did he let you score? Did you still have that competitive edge?
He's the most competitive person I've ever met. I remember even playing like tennis, table tennis. It'd be like 21-0. My mum would be like, let her get a point, Alan. For me, Farrah Williams was someone I loved, and I was fortunate enough to be able to play with her at Liverpool.
So you joined Manchester Centre of Excellence. Why then? Did they see you playing for the boys team?
Yeah, so they seen me playing for Fieldsworth Dynamos. That was like the boys team, and like got my dad's contact number and stuff, and was like, oh, can you bring Katie down? Like we've got training. And I was like, no, I don't want to go. I was like, I want to play with the boys. I love playing with the boys. Like they're some of my friends. Like I'm just happy. And he was like, come on, Katie, like, it'll be so good for you. And I was like, nope, not going. And then one day he told me we were going to the field, and he took me to the cliff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I got there and I didn't want to get out of the car.
Really?
And he was like, Katie, like, come on, it's amazing. And I remember I finally got out of the car, and he said, like, when I asked him now, he's like, you literally ran in and you didn't even look back.
And what was Manchester United's Centre of Excellence like for girls at the time?
So I was actually really fortunate. They just like bolted it onto the lads' academy. So like all the lads' coaches would stay in another hour and a half and like coach the girls' team.
Wow.
We'd go to the cliff, which was like the original training ground of Man United. I remember when we turned up early, or we had like a day session if it was a weekend. Beckham, Scholesy, Giggs would be like on the most immaculate pitch you've ever seen.
Who was your Man United idol then?
I love Wayne Rooney.
Really?
Yeah, my favourite player. Wore number 10. I'm number 10 now. I just loved him growing up.
Did you have any female role models growing up?
I think that come a bit later. When I was younger, like, women's football probably weren't as accessible, but for me, Farrah Williams was someone I loved, and I was fortunate enough to be able to play with her at Liverpool, which is every little girl's dream, I think. My dad was like, go, Katie, like, Juventus, that's amazing. And my mum was like, oh, I'm not sure, Katie, like, we will miss you.
Well, you mentioned Liverpool, so you've gone from Centre of Excellence at Man United. What, the big jump to Liverpool, rivals, like, did anyone give you any stick? Family, friends, fans?
To be fair, in my defence, there was no women's team at Manchester United.
So you kind of had to go?
Exactly. So I had to go to Liverpool or City, so it weren't going to be a good choice either way. And for me, Liverpool were the first full-time team in the Super League, so it kind of made sense. I was coming out of school. It was a perfect pathway through, really.
How old were you, did you say, 16?
16, 17, yeah.
And that's your first team environment. What was that like then?
I remember at first it was like a little bit daunting. I'd gone from the centre of excellence where it was like comfortable, you know, it was still our friends, we knew everyone, to like Farrah Williams, Tash Dowie, massive names in women's football, and getting the bus from Oldham to Manchester, getting the train to Liverpool because I was too young to drive. Sometimes the girls would pick me up or I'd walk to the train station. Actually, I remember once it was like a silver sports car coming by and I was like, oh, that car looks familiar. So I was like, kind of waving, and it was Farrah. And I didn't really know her that well, but she pulled over, she was like, "You all right, Zell?" I was like, "Can you get a lift?" She was like, "Get in." I had a little school skirt on and my school blazer. They all used to laugh at me because I turn up in my sixth form uniform.
So you were at Man United from the age of 8 to 16?
Yeah.
So then Liverpool 16 to
21. Yeah.
Then 21, you went to Juventus.
Yeah.
Why Juventus?
To be honest, I didn't expect to move out of England at all. And my agent rang and he was like, "Katie, like, Juventus want you?" And he was like, "Well, why don't you have a look, like, see what you think?" And I told my mum and dad, and my dad was like, "Go, Katie, like, Juventus, that's amazing." And my mum was like, "Oh, I'm not sure, Katie, like, we will miss you." But to be honest, it didn't really take me that long to decide. I remember by, like, the Wednesday, I'd, like, fully committed and signed, and they was like, "Wow, can you arrive tomorrow?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "You don't know me and how many clothes, suitcases I need to move out."
That's a big transition, though. Could you speak Italian?
Literally not one single word.
Can you speak it now?
I can understand it now. I'm definitely not as good as what I was.
Come on, give us a little bit. Come on.
Mamma mia. They genuinely say that, you know.
Really?
Yeah, and on every single corner there is, like, a pizza restaurant. Like, I thought
you meant like a corner, as in, like, they're taking a corner and they're shouting a pizza restaurant. Come on, then. Do you know the football analogies or the sayings in Italian?
So they told me the word famine meant foul.
OK.
So every time, like, someone kicked me in a game or whatever, I was like, "Famine!" And they would all wet themselves. And I didn't get onto it for, like, weeks. And then one of the girls came over to me, because, like, the opposition was looking at me like, "What is she on about?" And it meant I'm hungry. And they told me that it went foul. So I kept shouting it all the time.
I'm hungry,
yeah.
I'm hungry. Let's talk about the football then at Juventus. You won Serie A. So what was the style like compared to what you'd experienced in the WSL?
It's probably less, like, physical than it was in England, but very, like, tactical and technical, and that's kind of what they focused on, really.
And how long were you there for?
I was there for a year, and to be honest, I'd actually signed 2, and the only reason I came back was Manchester United.
Come on, talk to me what the call was like then. What did they say?
To be fair, ever since I, like, left the Centre of Excellence at 16, they were like, "We will get a women's team, Katie. It'll be the next 2 years," like 6 years later or something. I remember Emma Fletcher rang me and she said, "Katie, it's happening." And I was like, "I'm going for it." Like, I just feel like now or never. It's like Manchester United, it's where I've always wanted to be. Like, if I miss out on the first year, is it not going to be the same, you know? It's like being there from the start, something that, like, I've waited for so long. And I made the plunge to go.
Finally, on your domestic career, what's it like being a women's player in 2023?
It's actually funny. We even look back to when Manchester United started. We were, like, at a different training facility. We were washing our own kit. You look at it now and it just seems like worlds apart. We're at Carrington. We're obviously training where the men train. Like, we've got everything, literally, a professional athlete and a professional footballer needs and should have.
OK, Katie, tea or coffee?
Neither.
Neither?
I don't really drink hot drinks. Hot chocolate, if you would have said that.
City or beach?
Beach.
I could tell you, you've just been away, got a nice little tan, haven't you?
I'm a sunbather.
Book or film?
Film.
What was your latest film you watched?
I watched King Richard, you know, the Serena Williams and Venus.
Was that good?
Yeah, it was really good.
I need to watch that. Are you a rule breaker or do you stick to the rules?
A rule breaker.
You're the captain?
I'm from Manchester. Everyone breaks rules in Manchester.
Oh, this one's quite good. Worst habit.
People say I chew quite loudly.
Really?
But I don't notice it, maybe because I'm just so into the food.
Love that. First football kit.
I actually had the gold Barcelona kit. Remember it had like little pinstripes, red and blue? And I always used to wear it to training.
What, to Manchester United
Yeah,
training?
we used to be allowed to wear like whatever kit we wanted.
You went rocked up in a basket?
Yeah.
So you've lived in Italy, you live in Manchester, pastoral pies.
To be fair, I'm quite greedy and I think I just want to pick both.
Which one would you eat loudest with?
Probably the pie.
Snakes or spiders?
Spiders. I don't mind spiders at all. Like in the changing room, the girls are like screaming and I'll just like go in and pick it up.
You capture it?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'd be running, I'd be the other way, I'd be gone. Fair play to you. Last person you said that you loved?
My dad, yesterday.
Oh, that's super, super nice. Last one, music. Who's the most played artist on your playlist?
I love a bit of R&B, so Rod Wave, Chris Brown, anything on them vibes.
Okay, so I'm actually really looking forward to this. It's called Teammates. Okay, so what have we got here? Most unlikely to be a fashion icon.
Someone's going to hate me for this. I'm going to say Hempo.
Hempo?
Yeah, I feel like she's just a bit like Cash, isn't she? Just like leggings and T-shirt all the time.
Most likely to forget their boots.
Oh, I'm going to say Leslie Russo. She's a bit forgetful, you know.
Okay, that's the most important piece of equipment, I would say. Best roommate?
I'm going to say Kira Walsh or Laura Coombs. I've roomed with them at Club and Country. Coombsy is actually a weirdo. Like, if you just look at her, she's a weirdo. She makes weird noises.
Weird noises?
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Best at giving a team talk?
A lot of Ruben Moy.
Oh, yeah.
1,000,000%.
Okay, funniest in the changing room?
I'm going to take a duo here.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm going to go Beth England and Jess Carter. They are literally the most opposite people you've ever met and they're best friends.
Okay, most skillful?
Lauren James. Skills for everything.
Who is the best team DJ?
Well, actually, I'm the team DJ.
Oh, yeah?
So I'm going to say me.
It's a good DJ.
It was Leah, and then I just took over one day, and she never got back on.
Ooh.
So, sorry, Leah, I took your spot.
Okay, okay. Best celebration?
I would have said Ellen. I like that, you know, Ellen was so consistent.
Can't even do it. I don't
no,
know if she
I can't.
does it.
I'm not that flexible, but now we've got to say Chloe Kelly. Shirt off.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Euros.
Yeah, that is an iconic moment. Most annoying on the plane to Australia?
This is another duo, Millie Bright and Rach Daly. They are an absolute laugh, but you hear them before you see them.
Most likely to be a fashion icon?
Maybe Alex Greenwood. She's into her designer clothes, you know, she likes to put her own combinations together. I feel like she's into her fashion.
First on the dance floor?
Georgia Stanway. Georgia's a bit rogue, you know, like, she's straight up there.
But can she dance, though?
No, she can't dance at all, but they're the best people on the dance floor, you know, most confident, singing Sweet Caroline, you've seen her kill that.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to go with her.
So I feel like we've got to know you a little bit more, but I'm really intrigued to learn about your England career. So you've been in the youth setup, so tell me a little bit more about that.
I think since maybe I was 13 years old, I was like being picked for England for the under-15s, 17s, 19s. Went to a lot of youth tournaments and second silver medal was our best at Euros.
But I guess that's invaluable experience. That's why the youth setup's so important to set you up to the first team.
Exactly. I think it was so good that I'd had the experience at Liverpool of being around older players, that when I went up like a couple of years, it kind of felt more normal.
So then you got your senior call-up in 2020, but what happened?
Yeah, it didn't quite go to plan. To be honest, I'd kind of give up on England a little bit, and I kind of thought, oh, like, you don't fit into every manager's preference. Like, obviously every manager looks for different things, likes different things, and just from my age group, it just seemed like a bit of a stalemate. There was a few girls younger than me that had started getting called up, and I was like, oh, I've just kind of missed the boat, I think. So it was Phil that called me up for my first ever camp, and I got COVID. I think the first person in the whole league to get COVID, which is typical me, actually. I remember my friends all rang me and they were like, "You're on the news." I was like, "Girls, have you read what it says?" And they were like, "Oh, right, you've got COVID." It was like, "Katie Zelem has COVID-19. I was like, "That's not why I want to be on Sky Sports."
No, it's not. But then 2021, though, you eventually got your debut.
Yeah.
Latvia?
I think for me, it felt like a really long time coming. I felt like I'd been like around the edges of it for a little while, and obviously Serena had picked me every camp pretty much from when she came in. So I was like patiently waiting, like, "Come on, put me on, come on, put me on." And I remember she like told someone, "Get Katie warmed up," and all the girls was like, "Go on," like they were like buzzing for me.
Is the cohesion in the group just another level?
Yeah, and I think a lot of like times you've seen with Serena, she likes to have a consistent starting 11, which is proven incredible, the success at the Euros. So I think everyone kind of knows the role and where they're at within the team. So when you get that opportunity, everyone's so excited for you to take it. Kira is one of my best friends actually in the team, and I've known her for, God, well over 15 years now. So for me, I love seeing her do well, but I want to be playing too. And I think we have a really good relationship in the sense that we're both so supportive, but we're both pushing each other.
Kira Walsh is coming off, and look how pleased she is for Katie Zelem, because she finally gets that first cap.
Can you tell us more about Serena? Because I've met her a couple of times, and the first time I met her, I was like, oh, I think I was with Kelly Smith, and I went to Kel, "Oh, I'd love to put my boots on and play for her." Like, what's she like?
Yeah, she's such a, firstly, great person, and I think that goes a long way. She's a winner. She came into the England team and she was like, "How is this group of players not won? Like, you have an unbelievably talented squad." We'd all seen her win with Holland, and we was like, "You just look like the right person for the job."
Well, come on, let's get to it then. You're going to Australia, New Zealand. Talk to me, was it a phone call?
It was a FaceTime, actually.
Oh, you got a FaceTime? Wow.
Some of the girls were like, "Oh, I don't want her to FaceTime like that."
Was there a choice then? Like, did you say, can I have a call, can I have a FaceTime?
No,
or was
no.
it literally?
Yeah, no choice. She was FaceTiming you, and
wow.
That was it. So we knew it was coming Wednesday morning. So everyone, I think, was just sat at the phone waiting for Serena's name to come up. It felt like a long morning, to be honest. I remember I had things to do, and I was just like, I'm not leaving the house until she's rang. Like, you don't want to be like in the Tesco, do you, when she's calling you? So I think I was actually in my pyjamas, but they were nice pyjamas, so hopefully she didn't notice.
I hate to bring it up because during the Euros, that wasn't the case. So was you quite anxious about this call?
No, to be honest, I was a bit anxious. I think, especially like the process of what happened at the Euros, like I'd been at every single camp. I probably felt more confident at the Euros than I did like for this one. Actually, when I answered, she didn't have a big smile on her face, and I was like, "Oh, not this again," like.
Really?
And then when she said, "Oh, it's good news," I thought, God, you could have smiled a bit more, not put me on edge.
Did you tell her that?
I said, "Oh, God, I didn't expect you to say that." And she literally started laughing. She actually said to me, "Oh, I didn't know if you were going to pick up after the last camp." And I said to her, "Oh, I nearly didn't answer, actually." Just like...
Decline.
Yeah, not today. I'm so excited. I've literally dreamed of this moment since I was little. As long as you're believing in yourself, you can cherish every moment of your career.
I know it's not nice going back to it, but not getting in that Euro squad, do you actually think that was a real catalyst for the season you've had, and actually maybe you needed to go there to get to here?
I don't think I'd go as far to say that I would do it, like, not be picked again. But I don't think it was the worst thing that ever happened to me. I think at the time, like, I thought my career had ended.
Really?
I think I just felt so close to it that for it to not happen, I didn't really know how to deal with it. And it took me a good few weeks to just, like, process it. And, like, I remember the girls played literally the day after, and I was like, I don't know if I can watch this. Like, I'm literally sat at breakfast with them yesterday, and now they're going to a European Championship, and I'm sat at home.
Well, you've had an amazing season. You're now going to Australia and New Zealand, going to the Women's World Cup finals. Come on then, how excited are you?
I'm so excited, honestly. Like, I've literally dreamed of this moment since I was little, I think. Seeing you, Kelly Smith, Farah, wearing the shirt and representing it with such pride, I think it's always every little girl's dream to be going to a World Cup.
It is the greatest experience that you'll ever go through. What would it be like if you came back on the plane with that World Cup winners medal?
Honestly, I don't think I could put it into words. Even the season I've had at Manchester United, I just think it's unbelievable. I just love to take every moment in. I take a Polaroid camera everywhere I go.
Do you?
And all the girls laugh at me. I just love enjoying the experience, love being there in the moment, you know.
What's the aspirations for you and then for the team?
I think, obviously, the success of the Euros makes us one of the favourites going into the tournament, and people think it's a heavy weight on the shoulders, but I think pressure makes diamonds. You always want to be going into a tournament knowing that you've got the confidence to do well, and I think you take every game as it comes. There's some brilliant nations going into the tournament, so hopefully we continue to inspire the next generation and see how far it takes us.
You mentioned there, like, it's every little girl's dream to play in the Women's World Cup finals. What would be your advice to them?
I think for me it's always believe in yourself. I think there's always ups and downs along the way, and there's probably more downs than ups in football. As long as you're enjoying it, you're believing in yourself, then you can cherish every moment of your career.
I just want to say, Katie, thank you so much for your time, being honest, and just want to wish you all the very best for Australia and New Zealand, and we'll be rooting for you the whole way.
Thanks so much for having me on.